What's the deal, my people? Thank you for joining me in my channel, Panama's OG.TRUTH. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me right now. Welcome to my Prison Chronicles, volume number 2. It's been a minute. It's been a while, to be honest with y'all, since I dropped any heat, any of this content that me personally been through it. I lived it. If you're not familiar with my backdrop, let me give you a little bit of history before we get into this heat. At the age of 17, I was convicted. They gave me a 20-year sentence. Out of the 20 years, I ended up doing 12 flat. Went in from 17, got out when I was 29 years old. Finished my sentence on parole. Thank God, it's been over 17 years now that I've been a free man. And I love it, y'all. But I have a lot of people, and when I say a lot of people, people that I did time with, that are still in the prison system, unfortunately. People that are never going home. Okay, now me personally, I never did time in the Telford unit, but I got a lot of partners, a lot of people that I associate with, a lot of people that I know that are still in the prison system in Texas, some of them in the Telford unit. So I'm aware of what's going on in the system. I still keep in touch with some of my partners through the grapevines. So we hear and we see things. And most people, they're not aware of what goes down in our prison system. And when I say prison system, Texas has one of the largest prison systems in the United States of America. It's a money-making industry, y'all. In case you don't know, it's a form of white slavery if you want to get technical. They make you work and you don't get paid to work in the prison system in Texas. So it's a brutal system. And when I say it's a brutal system, I'm going to give you an example right now. Summertime is approaching. There's no air conditioners down there. It gets so hot in them cell blocks that you're talking about 115, okay? Them concrete cylinders, you know, that cement wall that you sleep next to, it gets hot where you're trying to stay away from that heat. It's just a brutal condition. A lot of people die during the summertime from extreme heat. It's just not, you know, it's not a good environment. I don't recommend it for these kids that are out here trying to play gangster. Think before you end up in this predicament. So yeah, man, New Boston, Texas, okay? And 2,000 man, 451 man unit. So like I said, it's not real big. It's not considered a mega unit like a Coatfield, like a Beto, but it's pretty big, y'all. The staff is a total of 449 employees. That's including security, that's including education, that's including medical and administration, okay? Security horses, security pack canines. So they have the whole 9 yards. You try to run from there, they're sending them canines to come fetch your ass. So the warden right now, as we speak, is gonna be a gentleman by the name of Michael Fiesel. He's the warden currently right now at the Telford unit. And look, I'm laughing because a lot of people think that when you talk about law enforcement and they see people wearing a law enforcement uniform, because a CO, a correctional officer, they're considered law enforcement to an extent. They might not have the full capabilities of a police officer, but they're able to establish some type of law in prison. They're the ones that are in prison to keep up the law. They're the ones in prison that are there to administer and make sure that every rule and regulation is being followed by the inmates, okay? So it's a form of law enforcement. That's what I'm trying to establish, all right? But the same way you have individuals anywhere that, you know, they're in a position of power and they have the belief that they can abuse the power for a financial gain or for a sexual gain, because different people have different, you know, agendas, it will be done. It's just a human nature, okay? Humans are greedy by nature. Humans are liars. They'll try anything in their power to get the upper hand, especially if you put them in a position of power over other people. So that's what brings me to my story today. Like I said, the Telford unit. And this is one of those stories that, you know, I tell people, you know, the type of things that I saw the 12 years that I was incarcerated. And some people don't believe me. You know, they think, you gotta be exaggerating. You know, there is no way that those type of things happen in there. You know, you have people that are watching you, people that are constantly checking up on you. Yeah, and to an extent, that is true. That is true. But a lot of times, where there's a will, there's a way. And let me set the foundation down right now so you could get an idea of a seasoned convict. Because there's a difference between an inmate and a convict. And we always used to say, a convict knows how to do time. And if you've been locked up, if you've done a certain amount of time or whatever, you know what I'm talking about. A convict knows how to do time. An inmate is just somebody that's passing through a year, 2 years. They don't know how to do time. You know, they're crash dummies, whatever. But a convict knows how to do his time and maximize his time to the benefit. In other words, you're going to go in there, you're going to do whatever amount of time you got to do, but you're going to do it your way and your way only. And people say, well, how is that possible? Now, this is where it gets interesting. Most people call it manipulating the system. I call it being just a smart convict and doing your time the smart way. Meaning making your time as smooth and comfortable as possibly you can. You incarcerated, you can't change that. But what you can change is how you do your time. And I'm speaking from my behalf, and I'm gonna tie it in, like you say, I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you, okay? So this is April 9th, so it's recent, okay? And like I said, this is just one story out of many stories. If you go back through my chronicles, my prison chronicles, volume 1, you'll see that I have other stories in the prison system in Texas that details some of what I'm about to speak. It details it to the fullest. So if you want to get a peep, go back and look at my old prison chronicles and you'll see what I'm talking about. This is nothing new, y'all. Like I said, I'm just shining some light and I'm bringing it to the forefront so the naive people that are out there in society, like they call it the free world, that believe that this type of shit doesn't happen, I'm gonna show you that it does happen. And it happens more than what you can imagine. That's the thing. This shit is rampant. Like, you cannot stop it, okay? Because look, for example, the majority of people in the Telford unit, they're doing a lot of time. That's what you call a aggravated farm, okay? The average inmate, convict, whatever you want to call them, that are doing time, they have aggravated time. Meaning, the majority of them in there for murder, robbery, armed robbery, aggravated assault. You know, you got the child molesters in there, you know, the rapists. It's an aggravated farm, okay? I'm not saying you're not gonna find the average drug case or whatever, but the majority of the population in a unit like Telford is gonna be aggravated time, all right? 3G offenses, okay? So you're doing time with people that 20, 30, 40, 50 life sentence type of shit. You're doing time in there for real. It ain't no a year and then you going home. Nah, you barely gonna see somebody in there with that type of time. That's what I'm trying to say. So when you have that type of time, your mentality is different, okay? And I'm gonna put you in the mentality of a convict, all right? So, like for example, I went in when I was 17. I was young, okay? So you get in there and you start watching how the system runs. You start paying attention to certain COs. COs is a short for correctional officers. You pay attention, and for example, you'll have let's say a lady in her mid 40s, okay? She might be married, she might be divorced, you don't know. But you look for those things. You make sure to see, does she have a ring? Does she wear a ring to work? When she comes in, her shift, is she smiling? Is she serious? Is she aggravated? Is she in a good mood today? You start paying attention to different things and you start noticing certain things. So you're able to form a way of approaching these COs. Now, when these COs go through their schooling, their academy, they tell them, don't talk to the inmates. Don't talk to them. Don't share no personal information. Don't say this. They tell you to limit the conversation when you talk to an inmate. That's what they tell you. In other words, if they're not talking to you about following the rules, telling your ass to get up, get out your cell or sit down or whatever, rules and regulations, or they're passing out mail or whatever, not to interact with you on any social level. And the reason being is because they know that you have sharks, whatever you want to call them, predators, with the mentality of just mentally, psychologically finding an edge to approach the CO. So like I said, we have a 44-year-old woman. She's divorced, okay? She don't wear makeup, but you feel like when she comes around, she's lacking some attention. So what you do? You start talking to her. How you doing, Miss Johnson? How's your day? The first couple of times, she might ignore you and tell you, inmate, shut up. You know, she might come off like that. But at the end of the day, you don't have nothing but time. You ain't going nowhere. So what you do? You continue chipping at the ice. And slowly but surely, next thing you know, Miss Johnson smiles at you. Oh, how you doing today? She gives you that type of look. So that right there, that's a chink in the armor. Okay? You already won a little bit of the battle. You already done got into her head. Okay? And you know it. Now, it all depends how you approach the situation. Do you smash the gas or you let it unfold? Either way it go, it could backfire. Okay? But if you cultivate and you start having a relationship with this officer by small little things, like I said, things like, oh, Miss Johnson, do you mind if I sweep the run? You know, it's a little dirty. Let me go out there and get the broom and sweep it for you. Oh, Miss Johnson, do you mind if I pass out some soap? You know, there's people that need some soap on the third run, you know, on the third tier. There's different ways that you could strike a conversation with a CO. And once that CO starts talking to you, you have a good possibility that you can start going to other different conversations. Well, Miss Johnson, if you don't mind me asking, do you have any kids? And, you know, she might be like, yeah, I have one or two. And that right there is a little bit of her personal life that now you know about. So the next week when you see her, how's your kids doing, Miss Johnson? Are they doing all right? So now you're putting in her head that you care about her children. You're asking about her children. So now she's putting her guard down. Because slowly but surely, you're getting in her personal space, her personal life. And the more you know, the more she shares, the more you're able to attack her psychological way of thinking. And a lot of these women, they don't have nobody out here paying attention to them. A lot of them are single, divorced, and even some of them are even married. Okay? But like I said, but there's a will, there's a way. They don't have nothing but time in there. These men only have time. So they're gonna figure out a way to penetrate and break your guard down, if you allow it. Now, don't get me wrong. You got some COs in there that have that bulldog mentality. They're not trying to hear that shit. You better not come sideways and try to be with that slick shit. You know, they're gonna put you in your place. But then you have the ones that, like I said, when they go through the academy, they portray that, yeah, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna do my job and all that. And as soon as they hit the cell block, man, you could tell, yeah, this one right here, she gonna be good. You could tell. So at the end of the day, you gotta look at it like this. If you're a male working in a female's prison, you're gonna feel like a kid in a candy store, like a kid in a toy store. Different variety, you could choose whatever you want. If you're a man, okay, in prison, and there's a female that's a CO, believe it or not, these females think the same way. They feel like they're in a candy store. They're looking and they're peeping and they're choosing. Mentally, they already look and they already know what they want and who they want. It's just a matter of, letting it, on the hush hush and getting their rocks off. So once you have a female, okay, and physically and emotionally and mentally, you already done tapped into her. And when I say physically, believe me, man, it happens. Okay? Most people don't realize that it happens, but it happens. Like I said, well, there's a will, there's a way. There's a lot of sexual activity going on in prison from the COs. You have female COs out there that are selling pussy. You have females that are giving it up to multiple inmates. You have female COs that are locked in a relationship with one inmate, but they're breaking the law. It's a big, big, risky game for these COs to play. If they get caught, not only are they losing their job, but they also go to prison. They could go to prison for a long time, depending to the severity of their crimes. But they do catch a felony. So these type of jobs, they have a lot of benefits from the state. So when you work in this type of environment, you have your benefits, your dental benefits, your pensions if you work X amount of years. So a lot of people make it a career. So when you have 10, 15, 20 years in the system and you get caught in the institution, breaking the law to the point where they gotta handcuff you, you done threw away all those years down the drain. You done flushed your years, they're gone. Your pension, everything is gone. You've worked, you've done all that for nothing, basically. And that's what brings me to this story right here. So on
in an alleged attempt to smuggle contraband into Barry B. Telford State Prison. Here's what we know so far. 6 of the arrested officers were charged with engaging in organized criminal activity, while 1 correctional officer faces felony charges of bribery, prohibited item or substance in a correctional facility, and possession of marijuana. And there have also been 7 search warrants executed on private residences related to those arrests. And today in a news release, Texas Board of Criminal Justice Chairman Eric Nichols said in part, quote, "Corruption is not and will not be tolerated in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. We appreciate the hard work of the Office of the Inspector General team and our outstanding law enforcement partners in pursuing this investigation into the introduction of contraband into our state prison system."
This story right here. So on April 9, law enforcement officers served 7 felony arrest warrants related to an alleged conspiracy. That's the key word, conspiracy. Conspiracy meaning a group of people that are involved in this. A group of people that have different functions to make this happen, okay? Introduce contraband into the Barry B. Telford unit of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, okay? Corruption is not and will not be tolerated in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. That's what they say. But there's plenty of corruption. Let me tell y'all that right now. Texas Board of Criminal Justice Chairman Eric Nichols said, "We appreciate the hard work of the OIG team and our outstanding law enforcement partners in pursuing this investigation into introduction of contraband into our state prison system." They talk like they just did a hell of an investigation. I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. I guarantee you, the way they cut into this, okay, somebody, and when I say somebody, I mean somebody that was wearing an inmate uniform, started running their mouth. I guarantee you, that's always the case. Somebody runs their mouth, they get to snitching for whatever reason, and when I say for whatever reason, it's easily done in prison, okay? They have boxes down the hallways that are called I-60 boxes. And this, I'm telling y'all, when I was there, I don't know if this is still around, if it's changed. If it has changed, get in the comments, let me know. But I know that when I was in there, they had like these little boxes on the side of the wall. So if you're walking down the child hall or take a shower or to rec or, education, whatever, you have like a little piece of paper that you write and you fill out, a request. Oh, I would like to request a move. I'm not getting along with my cellmate. Can I move to another cell? Whatever. So these are I-60s. Well, you have these so-called inmates that for whatever reason, they're hating on you. They're mad because they know you have this CO, this female CO on your team. They know that she's bringing you weed, she's bringing you cigarettes, she might be even giving you some head, and they're mad because they can't get that. They're not having the same fun that you having. So what they do, they write down your cell number and they put down what you're doing and they drop it in this little box. We used to call them I-snitches. They're I-60s, but we used to call them I-snitches. And these little things, they get to the administration and the administration reads it. And once they read it, they have an idea now what to look for. Because like I said, somebody in the cell block snitching, all right? So a lot of these investigations, man, believe me, man, these people will not fall or stumble upon it like they're trying to make it sound like they're just investigating. Motherfuckers be running their mouth. The same thing like I hear, these cops don't do shit. Snitches help them figure everything out. Snitches help them, get their cases done and all that. Without snitches, they ain't doing nothing. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all, okay? So we have the following T.D.C.J. correctional officers that were arrested at the Telford unit. Like I said, they ran this big old investigation after somebody ran their mouth, and now you have this conspiracy. And Officer Mondrisha, I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right or not. If I'm not, I apologize. Mondrisha Kwani Davis, this young lady right here. And you can see, she's one of those, you know, that she's out there trying to get it, okay? So I can see her all the way being down with the shits, easily, okay? They used to look for these type of young ladies right here. And like I said, they're your boppers. They're your ones that want to be in the club all night long. The next day they go to work. They smell like weed, that type of shit. She's one of them right there, you could tell. So they're hitting her with engaging in organized criminal activity. Now, this charge right here, engaging in organized criminal activity, it's a wide range of things. It could be smuggling weed. Cigarettes are illegal in Texas, okay? They used to be legal at one point in time, but it's illegal. So a lot of COs, they bring in packs of tobacco, okay? Like tobacco, like Bugler, cheap shit, like the cheapest shit you can find. And with this pack, believe me, man, motherfuckers are buying it for $100. I know when I was in the $100 cash for a pack of Bugler, a pack of tobacco, $100, okay? And it's crazy, y'all, because you break this pack down and you're gonna make your money back and more in the prison. All right, so whoever is bringing in the tobacco, they're making a killing, y'all, okay? Then you throw in the weed, because believe me, weed is rampant. You walk in the cell block and the weed smell hits you, all right? So motherfuckers are bringing that shit in. It's coming in. And 9 times out of 10, it's always a CO, okay? So this engaging in organized criminal activity, like I said, it's a wide range of things. It could be that she was bringing in contraband. It could be that she was helping people set people up to get them beat up, you know, hits in prison. Because when I tell y'all, man, that money talks, you could pay a fucking guard to turn the other way and just, oops, I open this cell door for y'all, and y'all go in there and mop this motherfucker up and bust his head wide open. Money talks. And a lot of these COs, if you put that money in their face, they'll do anything you want them to do. They'll bring cell phones. Cell phones is one of the biggest money-making things in the prison system. Whoever brings the cell phone in, they're making that money. So believe me when I tell y'all, it's lucrative. It's lucrative for the convicts and it's lucrative for the COs. So if you have a bullshit ass job, you ain't getting paid that much money, your life is constantly on the line, and somebody taps you and gets around to literally breaking you down when you start bringing in contraband, now you're making a substantial amount of money, literally doing nothing. You're bringing in contraband, of course, but you're not really doing anything, all right? Some of them get sloppy and they end up getting caught. And then some of them are literally snitched on. And in this case right here, believe me when I tell y'all, somebody ran their mouth because it was from the top to the bottom, okay? So you have her with organized criminal activity. Like I said, it could be numerous things that Miss Mondrisha was doing, all right? Then you have this cat right here, this rough looking ass motherfucker right here. Joshua Demond David Johnson. He's also charged with engaging in organized criminal activity. Like I said, it's a wide range of things that he could have been doing, okay? But believe me, it's all about the money. You pay, they perform, okay? Then you have Alexis Michelle Gregory, charged with engaging in organized criminal activity. The same thing. So they could have been working together. And from what they're saying, like I said, people they're still locked up through the grapevine. A lot of these COs were working together, meaning you scratch my back, I scratch your back. Meaning I'll look out for you. When it's your turn, you look out for me. That type of shit. And like I said, it happens. And it's always the type that if one of them is doing it and you see another one that's around that CO, believe me, 9 times out of 10, they're working together, okay? And it's easily, I mean, believe me when I tell y'all, most people don't realize that prison being a controlled environment, to an extent, it's easily manipulated. You know where the blind spots are, where there ain't no cameras. where you could hide certain things that normally they wouldn't be checking. If you work in a certain place, you can meet the CO at the spot. It's a lot of different ways to get away with this if you're disciplined and you don't put your business out there. Because once another inmate peeps game and finds out what's going on and they hate on you, that's all it takes. They'll drop an I-60 on your ass, tell it on you, and next thing you know, they're watching you. And I don't care how slick you are, how much conversation you have, if you have people watching you in that type of environment, it's just a matter of time, it's a slip up. You could predict, you could coordinate, but there's always gonna be somewhere down the line a slip up. That's just a fact, y'all. So, Officer Catherine Renee Davis, charged with engaging in organized criminal activity. Okay? Then you have these two, okay? But before I get to these two, all right, Miss Brittany Wade, multiple felony charges for bribery, prohibited item. Okay? So when you say bribery, that means that she could have had, somebody that was giving her cash for her to do certain things. And this could be from giving information about other inmates. This could be her setting up other inmates. And when I say setting up other inmates, man, it's a million different ways to do it. I've seen COs tell you to step out your cell, that they're gonna search your cell, and it's routine, okay? And they'll have, a shank on them and throw it up under your mattress and say, oh, look at what I found right here. And pick up the shank like, they found it in your cell. You out of there. You got a shank case. I've seen COs go in there, and plant pills. Oh, look at what we found right here. I've seen them plant weed. Believe me when I tell y'all, man, the same way you have cops out here that are dirty cops, that are doing dirt, or setting people up, fucking people's life up, the same thing in prison. You just don't hear about it. But it happens, and it happens more than what people think it does. Like I said, don't be naive thinking because they're wearing a uniform that they're following the law, that they're there to enforce the law. A lot of times, they're doing dirt, more dirt than the people that they're supposed to be supervising. That's just a fact, okay? And this is what I'm talking about right here. So Ms. Brittany Wade, like I said, multiple felony charges for bribery, prohibited item, substance in a correctional facility. Prohibited item, substance in a correctional facility. I wonder what that was. And possession of marijuana. Okay? So Ms. Brittany Wade, she was getting hers multiple ways. Okay? She's a jack of all trades. Alright? And then the two right here, these are the two right here that, like I said, man, it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. You have a sergeant. Alright? Now, the sergeant is the one that deals with the COs on a regular, okay? The sergeant is the one that's out there in the cell blocks, looking under the day room benches, making sure ain't no sinks up under there. The sergeant is the one running the child hall, running the showers. The sergeant is the one that, they're doing the hard work, like they say, okay? So, Kimberly Renee Edwards, charged with engaging in organized criminal activity. It could be a variety of things. She was getting her hands dirty somewhere down the line. She probably was allowing, certain things to go down on her shift. She probably had some of these COs that were on her team, that were doing her bidding, were selling for her. A lot of these officers, they'll have a CO, they're doing their work for them, and literally they're just collecting the money because they're allowing it. It's a form of it's a form of extortion too. If you're gonna get down and dirty and make some money on my shift, you gotta give me a cut. That's the type of shit that shit happen. But second thought, she don't look like she's that smart. She really don't, man. She look like a dumbass girl. And I wouldn't put it past that she was, sucking dick on the cool, giving up ass. Like I said, man, a lot of these females, man, they're thirsty. They don't get no attention out here. They get in that environment and they go crazy. All right, especially when they get a position of authority like this young lady had right here. And this is fucked up, y'all. And the reason why I said it's fucked up, because she's a mother. She's a mother. She has a family. And now she has a felony on her record. Now she don't have a job. So her kids, you know, how she gonna support her kids? So whatever she was doing in there, you know, illegally or legal, it backfired on her. And now she has to pay the consequences. They all gotta pay the consequences. So you go from being the prison guard to being the inmate. How that shit sounds. But it happens, and it happens a lot. More than what people think it does. You don't see this on NBC News unless it's like a big prison escape, like the shit that happened in New York and Denver, you know, that type of shit. But believe me, y'all, the 12 years that I was in there, I saw it happen a lot. And when I see this type of shit right here, and I have people breaking it down to me, it's funny because nothing changes, okay? They find different ways to, you know, go around it, but eventually they get caught. And it's always because somebody runs their mouth or somebody saw something and they started running their mouth. I hate motherfuckers in there be hating. Believe me when I tell y'all. Your own homeboys from your own hometown be hating. That's just a fact of life, especially in that environment. So then you have a captain, okay? And look, you don't really see too many captains fucking up like this captain right here. And if you look at her, man, she look mean as hell. This bitch look like a bulldog, okay? And I guarantee you, she done fucked over a lot of people, okay? They tell me, I know some partners that are still locked up, that I've dealt with this lady right here, and they say she ain't about shit, okay? She crosses people out like nothing, okay? And when I say crosses people out, I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say you're doing a 5 years a bid and you have a chance to make parole, okay? And for whatever reason, you get into it with this captain. She might tell you to get in line and you might smirk at her or whatever, and she might take that as a disrespect and decide to have another CO go in your cell and plant a bag of weed in your cell. Next thing you know, instead of you seeing parole, you're going downtown, whatever town the prison is at, and you being hit with another charge, and now you ain't going home. Just because she wanted to send a message to you. I'm in control, you in my world. That's the type of shit these people do, okay? And she looks like that type. And from what they say, she is that type. Like I said, we have them everywhere in the prison system. You just have to be, you know, very, very careful. Don't get caught slipping. But some people, like I said, man, they fall victim. It's all about, you know, how you do your time and what you know. But this captain right here, Captain Nicole Ricks, Jessica Nicole Ricks, Jessica. Man, she don't look like no damn Jessica, man. Come on now. She look like her fucking name Butler or something like that. Not no damn Jessica. But anyway, Jessica Nicole Ricks charged with engaging in organized criminal activity. So the majority of them have the organized crime activity on their ticket, all right? And like I said, this is a variety of charges that go along with this organized criminal activity. It remains to be seen when it's broken down what they were involved in. But what they did have, they had a system. They had a system, and the captain, being one of the highest authorities in the prison, normally you have two captains for a prison this size. One is a disciplinary captain, the other one is a security captain. I don't know if she was a disciplinary or a security captain, but either way it goes, they wield a lot of power in the prison, okay? The captain is a high-ranking officer with a lot of authority. They basically run the prison, y'all, okay? The majors, they just kick back, they come around every blue moon, you know. The system wardens, you hardly see them. The warden, you hardly see them. So the one that's putting in the work, enforcing the rules and laws of the land, it's always the captains, okay? And like I said, you could look at this bitch right here and you could tell she didn't play no games. Either she was cool with you, or if she wasn't cool with you, she was not somebody you want to have as your enemy. But it's crazy, because for her to be a captain, that means she had to be in the system for a while, okay? You just don't come in as a captain. A lot of these captains, they've been in the system 20, 30 years. So everything that this woman has accomplished in the system is vanished, it's gone, as it should be. As it should be, because she has manipulated the system somewhere down the line to her advantage. And when this type of shit happens, y'all, believe me, man, It ain't something that happens within a couple of days. They watch and they pay attention and they find the system that you're running. And once they find the system that you're running, that's when they come in and arrest everybody. Escort them off the unit in handcuffs. How embarrassing is that? And it's an embarrassment. It really is. You know, you're supposed to be a form of authority and everybody's literally laughing at you because they're escorting you off the prison, in handcuffs. So, like I tell y'all, man, drugs, contraband, cell phones, rampant, everywhere. Everywhere. Money talks, bullshit walks, okay? You have a system, prostitution. A lot of these COs are selling ass, it's the truth. They're sucking dick, cash money. So this is what you have right here. A lot of these COs, they're running a type of, you pay me and, I turn around and boom, open this cell door and turn around and I don't see nothing. They could go in there and mop somebody up, kill somebody, sexually assault somebody. This type of shit happens in prison every day. People think it's just in the movies, but it's not. It actually happens in prison. Me at the age of 17, I'll never forget, okay? The first week that I was there, 3 other people that were on the bus with me, they rolled up, shackled down, okay? They were looking at some time just like me. I think one of them 19, the other one might have been 17, and another 18-year-old, okay? Within the same week, when I saw these kids going to the child hall, they were black and blue. Like literally, like a motherfucking gorilla had beat their ass up. Their booty. Yeah. I don't want to get into it because I don't want to glorify it, but sexually assaulted inmates in prison is a common thing. More common than what people can imagine. And if you have, the money or the influence to make a guard, pop a cell door for you or turn around or falsify a report, it happens. It happens. It's a matter of how much and how much you got. And believe me, everybody is bought in prison. Everybody. Where there's a will, there's a way. And when you see this right here, 7, and those are 7 that got caught. Because believe me, they didn't catch everybody. I promise you that right now. These are the 7 that got caught, topping off with the captain, okay? This ugly ass bitch right here, okay? But this is something that it'll slow down for a little while, and within a couple of months, it picks right back up. You'll have other guards that are filling the vacuum. They're filling the void because there's money to be made. And the majority of the inmates, convicts, as I call them, that are dealing with these COs are gang members. So they have an influence within the prison. They have a level of respect. So for these guards to be associated with these inmates, it gives them a sense of being important, being protected. It's a very, very political world. It's all about who you're associated with, who you deal with, and how you deal with these people. It's all about money, money, and money. That's the order of the day. In the same way you have people that are making money out here in the streets, you have people making money in prison. Shit don't stop. People think that when you get incarcerated, it's over with. It might be over with for what's going on out here for that person, but you have cats, like I said, that all they think about is how to corrupt and manipulate the system to do their time the best way that they want to. They want to kick back, smoke their weed, get their dick sucked, whatever. Gambling. It's a lot of gambling in there. You want to do your time as comfortably as you can. And the only way to do that is with cash money, y'all. Drinking me a cup of coffee early in the morning, or as my Mexican partners say, huariche. For all my homeboys that are still incarcerated, man, that ain't never coming home, my hat goes out to y'all. Life is beautiful. Like I said, I've already been out of prison for 17 years, over 17 years, and I thank God for giving me my freedom. Prison is a rough and ugly environment. Only the strong survive, like they say. Only the strong are able to dominate and thrive in that environment. all right? But if you have the money, it makes it much, much easier. You're able to have people at your disposal to do your bidding. And I guarantee you, from the captain on down to the CO, they were getting their hands dirty. And the house of cards came tumbling down. And it's crazy because at the end of the day, it's not just Telford, okay? Let me get that understood right now. When I went home from Beetle 1, all right? And if you've been on Beetle 1, you already know what time it is. It's like a big-ass Las Vegas in prison, okay? You have everything from gambling to prostitution to hits for hire. You could pay somebody to go knock a motherfucker off. It's all kind of shit going on in the system. And you have individual prisons that are more notorious than other prisons. Telford being one of those notorious prisons. The reputation that Telford has, it's a rock and roll unit. I know it was when I was there. And from what I see, you still have a lot of shit that's going on in there. Like I said, this is crazy, y'all. Because look, family, okay? To lose your job, for your family to know that you were doing this, that's the cold-blooded part about this. I don't wish this on nobody. But when you manipulate the system to your advantage and you get away with it for a certain amount of time and you get caught, that's a horrible feeling. It's a reality check. And that's where these people right now, wherever they're sitting at right now, they're thinking, damn, was it worth it? Was it worth me losing my job? Was it worth the embarrassment, my community, my family, my kids? I don't think so. I don't think so. But like I said, human nature, greedy. I want more money, or I got away with it, so let me keep doing it. And it won't be the first, it won't be the last. This shit happens every day. Some prisons have more activity than others. It all depends, the structure, the system, the rank and file. Because believe me, man, it starts from the top. A lot of these, wardens, they know what the fuck is going on. But as long as they're getting their bonuses, as long as they're getting their pockets full, they don't care. They turn the other way. Shit like this happen, believe me, it's because somebody put it out there and they didn't have no choice but to run an investigation. Because this is an embarrassment to the warden. Let me tell y'all that shit right now. This is an embarrassment. This happens on his tour of duty, on his watch, like they say. So believe me, he's hot. Mr. Fiesel, he might not even have a job. Simple as that. A lot of these wardens, man, they lose their jobs for some dumb shit. Sexual harassment. I've seen wardens trying to, fuck on some young COs and get popped, lose their job. Been in the system 45 years. Down the drain behind a 19-year-old girl that he's trying to come on to, and the girl ends up snitching on him. Type of shit. It happens, y'all. It happens, man. Like I said, just because they're in a position of authority, don't think that they follow the rules and regulations. A lot of times they're worse than the people that are incarcerated. And the same way you have corruption out here, you have corruption in there with law enforcement. It's just not brought to the forefront. You don't see this shit on CNN News, Fox News, ABC. You don't see it. So that's why I wanted to bring it to y'all attention. Like I said, man, this is my Prison Chronicles Volume 2. I will be bringing some more heat. And like I tell y'all before, and I'm going to tell y'all again, my history is my history. I'm not here to offend nobody. I'm not here to put nobody on blast. I'm just here to bring y'all Panama's OG truth. Raw and uncut, Panama's OG truth. To the next one, stay tuned because I will be dropping his heat. Prison Chronicles 2, much love and God bless, Panama's OG truth.